Are there things you absolutely have to have in order to be a successful entrepreneur? Stay tuned to find out.
Welcome.
Okay, here's the question.
Serious?
How are we dark horses? You know, the ones everyone is betting against, the ones they don't expect to win, place, or even show on the track, and they'll even laugh on us when we talk about trying. How do we show the world our greatness and triumph?
Come on.
Well, that's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. This is The Dark Horse Entrepreneur. My name is Tracy Brinkman.
And push it out.
What is up, my dark horse friends and family? Welcome back to your ongoing dose of successful entrepreneurship learning. I'm your dark horse host, Tracy Brinkman, and you, well, that, my friend, is infinitely more important. You are a driven entrepreneur or business owner or one in the making. Either way, you're here because you're ready to start, restart, kickstart, and just start leveling up with some great marketing, personal, or business tips and results in order to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. And that's why I'm here hitting you with one of these solo success episodes on the Dark Horse Entrepreneur as we dive deep into success with actionable advice, tips, and steps designed to help you level up your game, because you already know when it comes to success, there are no real shortcuts except for taking those little steps towards your goal every single day. Speaking of little steps, before we kick this off, I want you to take a little step. I know you want to keep getting all these daily success tips. Well, they're not daily anymore. They're a couple of times a week in addition to the interview episodes. But to get those, be sure you go on down there and hit that subscribe button. And while you're down there, go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating and drop us some kind words in the reviews or drop some suggestions. Hey, I'm open to some constructive criticism. Ask questions. I read every single one of those reviews, and it is those subscribes, ratings, and reviews is your way of telling those podcast platforms out there to give us a little lift in the rankings so that we can reach more driven entrepreneurs just like yourself. So please take a moment, show the love, and help spread the word. I appreciate you. So let's start this episode off with a question, other than the one that's already started off. Have you ever reached the end of your week and thought, Jesus, what the heck am I doing? Or what the heck am I doing with my life? Or what the heck am I doing with my business? Or what the hell is going on in my world? Yeah, I think anyone who has jumped onto the entrepreneurial road has been in that very spot at least once. Probably many times. But here's the deal. You pour your blood, your sweat, your tears, your soul, your skin. You put that skin into the game, into your dream, your business, your entrepreneurial journey, only to come up short, right? Maybe it's short on the bills. Maybe it's long on the hours, right? How many of us have gone from doing a side hustle and turning it into a full-time, and you go from working 40 hours a week to 80, 100. Yeah, right? And all of that really pushes the envelope and taxes every single thing you have in your life. It certainly will tax your health, right? Your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. How about the health of your relationships? Your significant others, like, hello, how about a little time for me over here? Your kids? Maybe your spiritual health. I know whoever you may believe in, my God is very patient, but even he has a moment where he says, dude, I need a little of your time, right? Huh? I think at the end of the day, what I'm getting at here is that for better or for worse, when you take that plunge into the ravine of entrepreneurship, self-employment, being a business owner, you get a real glimpse of the grit that you have inside you, of what you are truly made of, that metal that strengthens your spine and your spirit, right? Because you think about it, how many times have we looked at some of those amazing business owners, those successful entrepreneurs out there, and they look like they're standing alone amongst all the challenges that are thrown against them. Like they were just born to do it, right? They were just born to be a business person. They were born to lead people. But here's the thing I've learned, not just from being in business, working in businesses of others, or learned from the coaches that are out there, and the tools that are out there, is that successful entrepreneurs and successful business people use coaching, use tools to help them create their business and put a little ease into their lives and into their businesses. So I want to rifle off here the 5 things that I've experienced from those coaching and from life's lessons and business lessons that have led to not just my success, but the success of so many people out there in business and in their personal lives. Here we go. The first thing you're going to need, my friend, is stamina. Because here's the thing. You're going to step into your dream. You're going to take that first golden step towards your dream. Yeah, here we go. You're going to be pumped up. You're going to be charged. You're going to be ready to rock and roll. But here's what's going to happen. And this is a painful truth. So get ready for this one. Life will not stop. The world does not stop spinning on its axis because you took that first, second, fifth, or 50th step onto your dream. It will continue without pause and without mercy. Yeah? It doesn't care that you've started on this new life's ambition. Huh? Here's what's going to happen. The normal problems are going to arise at the least opportune moments. We're talking about sickness. I'm talking about the kids being late for school. Your tire is going to go flat. Your car is going to break down. You're going to go through a divorce. I say that one from experience. You're going to go through a bankruptcy. You're going to lose merchandise. You're going to get scammed. You're going to have marketing that you think is awesome. That sucks. Your website's going to get hacked. Another experience I'm speaking of, right? The list of potential pitfalls and variables is about as long as time, if you think about it, right? There are an endless list of things that can happen to you, and they are going to happen. But your ability to endure these frequently encountered pains, call them growing pains maybe, right? Is going to be your stamina, regardless of how challenging your day may begin or how challenging it gets through the day. You're going to need to show up, stand up, put up, and do the work. That's it. You're just going to have the stamina, the fortitude, the wherewithal to get in there and gut it out. And this is going to be very important because here's what happens. That original oomph that you had, that motivation, that charge, that energy that you had when you took that first step is usually going to be blunted. You know, that sharp razor's edge of motivation is going to be dulled by each and every one of these setbacks, these stumbles, these bumbles, these falls, right? These face plants. Yeah? Maybe you, like I said, that marketing that you thought was brilliant. Yeah, it sucked. Face plant, right? It kind of dulls your edge a little bit. And you start getting waylaid or sidetracked. Well, maybe this isn't the right idea. Your energy, your motivation, your drive gets withered and watered down by all these sidebars, all these stumbles, bumbles, falls, and face plants. And here's what I see what really tends to happen at this moment. You get sidetracked. Ooh, look at this. You know, that bright, shiny object syndrome pulls you off over here. This might be a better idea. And you start losing sight on your original vision, your big picture. So you're going to have to remind yourself why you're going through all these trials and tribulations and having to put up with all this caca, this bullshit in your life so that you could achieve that greater vision that you put before yourself. And this is going to help build your stamina. Now, you're going to need some stamina in the first place to weather it out. But as you continue to focus on your big picture, on your great vision, right? Your Vista vision, as I've called it, right? That will further build your stamina. And inside of that will be consistency, because being able to be consistent along your path, along your journey, is key for not only building your enterprise, your business, your entrepreneurial journey, but it's also going to be key to building the very stamina you need to build that enterprise, that entrepreneurial journey. Okay, so now we got stamina. I think the next one we're going to need is execution. Oh my God, this one is huge. If I think about back in the 90s, I was a big fan of Think Successfully. Actually, my email signature always said, Think Successfully. And that's what I was all about. My daughter had just passed away, and I was just trying to be positive, find the silver lining in the cloud of darkness that I was traveling through, right? I mean, it's a terrible thing to lose someone like that. But I was missing a key piece, and that is, number 2, execution. It's the driving force that holds everybody back from their true potential. Yeah, it's awesome to think successfully, but if you don't take action, then you're just sitting there with a smile on your face, which is why nowadays, if you ever get an email from me, at the bottom of it, you'll see that it says, think successfully and take action. That's how I sign off every one of these episodes of the podcast. And that's why, because things rarely turn out how you envision them, no matter how much you prepare or how much you plan. So you're going to have to start first by executing, by taking action, and then adjust and pivot and dodge and move and wipe the caca off your face when it hits you. Right? You're going to have to get out there on your boat, set your sails, learn to navigate, and just get the best out of what comes along. Yeah, you didn't plan for that big wave to hit you on the broadside. Okay, well, guess what? Now you've got to adjust the sails. You have to turn the boat back to the way it was going. Otherwise, you may set sail for Hawaii and end up in Japan. Huh? Okay. You have to keep cranking away. You have to get those small wins over and over again. Even the littlest one. Hey, I got my headline finished. I like the headline. It tests well. Now, I'm going to work on the next piece. It's each one of these small wins that add up to a big win. Right? The headline leads to the subheadline, leads to the content of the letter, which leads to a sale. And that, my friend, is a big win, right? Yeah, I feel you nodding your head. And these big wins lead to steady growth, which builds a firm foundation to rapid growth. So again, you need to get in there and you need to execute. You got to get busy. Like I said, you can't just sit there with a smile on your face. You got to think successfully and take action. Then you're going to use what we just talked about. You're going to maintain that action with stamina and consistency. And this is going to lead you step by step towards your end goal. Here's the deal if you think about it. We all want 100 customers or 1,000 customers or 10,000 customers, whatever it is. But think about it. You will never get 100 customers or even 10 if you don't get that first one, and then that second one, and then that third one. You're going to have to be fully committed to building that firm, solid foundation. And you don't do that by half-stepping it, by half-assing it, or half-measuring it, whatever phrase you want to use. There's no easy path to running a strong, successful entrepreneurial journey. But it's simple, right? As the famous footwear brand, we all know who it is. It's really simple. All you have to do is just do it. But all of that leads to number 3, we're going to talk about here, resilience. Yeah, when you are a business owner, everything stacks on your shoulders. Yeah, well, at least that's how it feels, right? I mean, everything, the whole world is on your shoulders. Now, like we talked about earlier briefly, is all the good, successful entrepreneurs out there that I've learned from and experienced have a support system. right? They have people they can lean on, but it still feels like it's all on their shoulders. So learning how to deal with these challenges with resilience is going to be a huge tool towards your success. Now, I think one of the big steps towards building up your resilience is knowing yourself, right? Taking a personal inventory. Yeah, take a personal inventory and be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, then I think you got to stop right there and figure out why, because that is going to be a stumbling block every step along in your entrepreneurial journey, right? So if we're going to go back to taking a personal inventory, we have to ask ourselves some questions like, are you letting other people's feelings of doubt sneak into your brain? And it could be anybody. It's even worse if it's part of your inner circle. Now, there are probably folks inside your close sphere of influence that are saying, do you really want to do this? I'm not sure. And here's the thing. They're probably very well intentioned. They're worried about you getting hurt, you stumbling, you fumbling, you bumbling, you falling, you faceplanting, and they want to save you that pain. Maybe they've experienced it. I mean, they've tried and they've failed and they know how it feels, right? But are you letting those feelings of their feelings sneak into your psyche? Okay. I think another question you need to ask yourself is, are you letting external circumstances hold you back? Or are you getting in your own damn way? Quite often, it's you getting in your own damn way and you're blaming it on external circumstances. Well, the political climate isn't quite right. Guess what? Probably never will be. It's going to rain tomorrow. I'm exaggerating on purpose, right? Oh, the kids got football. We'll wait till after football season. Oh, then it's basketball practice. You know what I'm saying? And then by the time you go through all the excuses, you're back to the first one. Oh, it's football season again. So usually it's you getting in your own damn way and blaming on external circumstances. And like I talked about right out of the gate with the first one in stamina, there's going to be these stumbles, bumbles, and falls and face plants. They're going to cause bumps in the road. And are you causing those little bumps to throw your alignment completely off track and derail the train or throw you off the road, right? And here's the thing with that. Usually so many people do that because it's easier to just not do anything than it is to deal with the work you have to put in. It's going to be work. Yeah? You didn't think, it's going to be easy. I can work for myself. Well, the key word is you're going to have to work yourself. So let's flip the script a little bit on that. So if you're getting some of those negative inputs from your folks of sphere of influence, whether it be inside your sphere of influence or outside, can you flip those negative thoughts on their ear to help create motivation inside you? Well, John says I can't do it. I'm going to show him how easy it can be done. Or I'm just going to show him I have the stamina and the resilience to get shit done. There you go. Another question you can ask yourself is, can you create as a process or a system that keeps you focused on what it is you need to do, right? And maybe it's just not so much on focus on just what you need to do, but focused on what you can control. Because when you focus on what you can control, then you're not worried about, I can't control that over there. How do I fix it? Because you can't, right? It's out of your control. But here are all those things, those factors that you can focus on because they are within your control. And that's how you start making shit happen. I think at the end of the day on this one, here's an easy question. Are you focused on the drama or your dream? Yeah. If you're focused on your dream, then the drama may pull you to, sidestep you once and you'll step right back in. But when you focus on the drama, it sidesteps you one and then it sidesteps you again and again and again. And the next thing you know, you're a mile away from where you were yesterday. Here's the deal. You're going to face challenges whether you go on an entrepreneurial journey or not. The thing is, you're going to face those challenges anyway. Going on the entrepreneurial journey may add some extra challenges. It will add some extra challenges. And your resiliency will help. remember that being resilient isn't about how many times you get punched in the face. You're going to get punched. It's about whether you're able to bounce back when you get punched. We've all seen that cool guy, the really big, tough guy, and he takes that punch and his head just snaps right back into place. That needs to be you on your entrepreneurial journey. Figure out how, or even better yet, let's figure out how to dodge those blows in the first place. That will allow you to create a capacity for resilience that when one finally does land, you'll get your head snapped right back into place and regain your focus and balance quickly. I think the next little tip I want to bring you with here is very important, and it's context. Yeah. The question, and I'm going to lead off with this one when it comes to context, is why the hell did it bother you in the first place? So what? Someone says you can't do it. Well, you know you can. That's why you started doing it in the first damn place. So why does it bother you? Right? I think the key here is really remembering why you took that first step on your entrepreneurial path in the first place, and the difference that you plan on making for each and every single client whose life you're lucky enough to touch, for all the employees you're lucky enough to bring aboard, and maybe the ripple that you plan on making in the world as a result of the things that you're doing. So you have to ask yourself, why do I even care about all their negative thinking? Okay, so my tire went flat. I got to change my tire and move on. Keep it in context. And probably one of the great ways to do that is review some of your success stories, right? Having your moment of gratitude. This is huge. I learned this from Anthony Robbins a long time ago. One of the first things you should be doing, or that I do as part of my daily routine, is what am I thankful for? And you want to talk about putting things in context. You take a couple of minutes every morning after you wake up, maybe while you're sitting down doing your morning constitutional, whatever it is, brushing your teeth, you can be thinking about all the things you're grateful for. And that will put so many things into context. Some folks like to go back and read their client testimonials. Read old messages they got from their children. There's a message I got from my daughter about me being a Superman. You want to talk about putting things in context? There you go, right there. That, my friend, will help you find your true north once again. And I think the last thing successful entrepreneurs are going to need, or do need, is continual growth. In order to see success year after year after year and not reach a plateau that they can't get off of, right? Or they become complacent with, you're going to have to embrace continual growth. And if I go back to any time I was happy in life, I was growing. Yeah. Was it painful? Yeah. Right? Growing pains. It's like working out a new muscle or working out an old muscle a different way. You're going to feel the pains that come with that. But when you reach your milestones that you have set for yourself, right? Go ahead, pause, sit down on that plateau and enjoy, party on, celebrate reaching that plateau in the first place. Then set your gaze upwards towards that next goal, whatever it is, and keep on growing, keep on going, keep on learning, keep on doing, keep on reaching out to your clients, your prospects, and helping them continually grow and learn as well. And you want to talk about something that will give you some resiliency. Reaching that plateau, celebrating the fact that you reached that plateau, and then setting your gaze on that next one. This means you're going to be taking that time to look at what is going to push you, right? What's going to push your business to that next higher level. But that then again means you're going to be ready to embrace those new, and I won't call them harder. Maybe they're just more like different. Those new the new varied levels of challenges and discomforts. And, why did I get in here to do this? We got in here to do this to grow and to help others grow. Growth promotes growth. Unless you allow yourself to sit there and become complacent. When you become complacent, you start to atrophy. So stand by your choices and be willing to step again into the unknown. Just like you did that first step you took on this entrepreneurial path. When you reach that goal, be ready to take that first step, that next step into the next unknown. Heck, jump off the cliff and figure out how to fly on the way down. Build your parachute on the way down. Find your wings on the way down. Take the risks that will take you to places that you've only dreamed about. That is the journey, my friend, with the best rewards. All right, there you have it. The 5 things I think you're going to need to be a successful entrepreneur. Stamina, execution, resilience, context, and continual growth. All right? With that, I'm going to leave you as I always do. Think successfully and take action. Thank you for listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
And you know this!
Thanks for tuning in.
Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com.
All right.
My name is Tracy Brinkman.